Welcome to a new anime review series. This is where I'm reviewing the anime in another world with my smartphone. Yeah! First, episode 1. This is reviewing the first 4 episodes of the series, which pretty much is that book 1 for the exception of the interludes. Yeah, I don't know why. My guess is because the interludes are just side stories. Yeah, they're probably short stories. I'm surprised they weren't adapted for the anime. My personal guess is, and this is my personal, if the series have decided to do an OVA, basically these short stories would be perfect for OVAs. Oh yes. Now the thing is, this particular anime started back in 2017. It's only 12 episodes. Yep. And in these episodes, we introduced a handful of characters. In the first episode, we're introduced to Toya, voiced by Josh Grell, which few series I've heard of him. At least he's one I'm familiar with. Yep. The first episode starts off pretty much how the light novel itself starts off. It's like, oh, we're basically having God. Don't know if this is really God. This guy called himself God, just an old man. It's a common depiction of God in people tend to think of God like an old man with a beard. That's the simple gist of it. And Toya has died. His full name is Toya. How do you pronounce his last name? It is Masakushi. But the thing is, basically, the way you pronounce his name in the anime, both in the manga and the light novel, it is too. It's Masakushi Toya, which basically is kind of like the last name is actually the first name, and the first name is actually the last name. That's simply the gist of it. And God is explaining to Toya that he was killed by accident by a bolt of lightning. He just felt like releases a bolt of lightning. And he died. And he's wearing basically kind of like a suit, like he's going to school, possibly. And it's like, okay, I'm going to resurrect you, but I'm not going to send you back to your own world. It's like, really? It's against the rules. He's like, okay, I'm going to send you to a world with lots of magic. Would you like me anything with you? He said, sure. Can I make my smartphone with me? He's like, sure. I'm just going to reprogram it for you. Now, they do make a slight change here from the light novel. Because in the book, it's explained that he can use the internet as much as he wants to, but he can't message people, he can't call people. Like, they do keep it, he can't call anybody from his home world, but they do cut out the slight thing of the fact he can't use message boards, he can't use anything online to contact people with his own world, aside from basically, like, phone call. And the only person he can call is God. So, basically, he just sends it back, sends it to his world, and he basically is wearing the same outfit. Yeah, apparently he basically has him fully clothed. And then we have this carriage just happen to come by. He just walk into a nearby, like he's picking some random direction. Of course, God, this is what I calls him. Okay, I'm going to take your GPS to basically this world. It's like, that's a pretty good idea. That's why I can stop going in a random direction. So he goes nearby a town, just happily walking. And then a carriage just happened to pass by him. The passenger gets out, and it's some crazy guy like, hey, I'd like to buy your clothes. Would you sell them to me, please? He's like, sure. Probably needs new clothes anyways. So he goes to a shop. Apparently, he's a tailor. Yep. Give him some new clothes, and this outfit he would wear in all the episodes. Yeah, it's like a button-up shirt with a suit coat and special shoes. Apparently, he says, oh yeah, here's the thing. There's a slight cut down here. Basically, he says, like, I'll pay you extra if you sell me those clothes too. In the book, basically, he said, I'll pay you extra to sell your underwear. Basically, his undershirt and his boxers. He's like, okay, fine. And he gets new clothes. Okay, he's figured, okay, I gotta find myself a place to see. He asks, like, basically, is there a place I can stay? He's like, sure. There's a Silver Moon Inn. Just follow that one direction. Now, they do keep this thing in from the book that he cannot read what the stuff says. And he's just walking about, and all of a sudden, he just happens to come across his first 2 future companions, Lindsay and Ellie. 2 twin sisters. Now, I forgot to mention who voices these characters. Now, Toya is voiced by Josh Grell. Great voice actor. The sisters, basically, the older sister, Ellie, she's voiced by Leah Clark. And Lindsay, the younger sister, she is voiced by Jill Harris. I'm not that familiar with her. Yeah, and here's the thing about the sisters. In the book, I don't know what the color of their hair was. They don't really mention it. In the anime, they're basically platinum blondes. I don't know why. And here's the thing. They're twin sisters, but here's the thing. Lindsay is shorter than the other twin. Usually a lot of time when I see twins, and especially even in real life, they're usually depicted to be in the same height unless they're two different genders. If they're the same gender, they're the same exact height. This is the first time I've seen it where two twins are different heights. He's like, and of course, oh, by the way, they actually do have where he sells his clothes and he gets 10 gold coins. He says, hey, and of course, they're being costed by these two guys, like, I'll pay you like 1 silver for this, basically, this glass antler. And Toya's like, hey, I'll buy it for you for 1 gold coin. And he smashed it, beats up 2 guys. That's pretty much it. And, like, he tells them, like, hey, I'm going to Silver Moon. It's like, we're going too. Let's go. And apparently he cannot read the stuff, so he basically stays there for a whole month. Like, they do cut out the slight thing of mentioning, like, he gives, like, how much can this 1 coin give me? Basically, a whole month worth of rent. Yeah, that's something, though, they actually, it's like, they cut out small details like this and lighten up, which, okay, that's perfectly fine. And they sign up basically in the guild, and he cannot read the stuff. They do cut out that particular portion. I'm a little surprised about that. He goes basically to get the guild card, which looks like pretty much like black credit cards. Yeah. So they go on the quest, and he tries to pick one particular quest. Of course, he can't read the stuff because for him, it's gibberish. And he basically, after completing the quest, he talks to girls later. It's like, okay, can one of you two teach me how to read and write? Like, are you illiterate? Yeah. I mean, he can speak the language perfectly fine, but he can't read or write the language. Okay. Now, apparently, from what I can tell, this pulls some cues from a couple different series I have already watched. Kunosaba, especially with the only thing, one big thing has that common with this one, and Saga Time Evil is that one person apparently died and basically was born in another world with abundance of magic. Though in the case of this one, at least this guy is not portrayed like an idiot, or is being sadistic idiot like Kasumi is from Kunosaba, or basically being evil little girl Tanya like in Saga Tanya the Evil. The thing with him is he's actually pretty smart, and of course he's smart when using a freaking smartphone. And of course they test out his abundance of magic, which this is all pretty much true from the book. Not really much change here. It's like he tests all things. He basically is like overdoing it. And he's able to use no magic perfectly fine. And of course, then, well, they go into basically their next town where they run to Yui. Yep, great character. Love this one. It's like, oh, she's a samurai. And they're like, what's a samurai? And then she does some judo. And she, like I think that's judo. Like, I have no idea what it is. Yeah. And she's voiced by Michelle Rodgers. Yeah, I've only seen like one of her series. She was in Tokyo Ghoul. And aside from that, she was in Fairy Tail, voicing one of the Gemini, those spirits that work for Lucy. And let's see, was there anything else? Nope. Oh yeah, she's also in Clear Card as well. Yep. And they decided to simply just travel together after like one mission together. Well, they go on a mission and they just happen to come across these 3 guys being attacked by these 3 lizard men. And Toya takes out the spellcaster pretty quickly, and it turns out, and of course the person that carries was wounded by an arrow, and Toya's like, okay, I'll remove the arrow and heal him. Yep. And introduce her as Sue. Yeah, call her Sue. Oh yeah, I should point out that this girl is 10. She's 10 years old, and she looks older than she looks. And yeah, so they take her back to meet her father, who in this anime is the Duke, and he's voiced by the awesome Christopher Sabat. I'm like, yes, an anime that's done by Funimation dub. And I'm like, I kind of expect to see Christopher Sabat because he shows up practically everywhere in like almost every single anime I watch. He's usually voicing some character. I like the fact he voices an important character like the Duke of this country is. The game is called Belfast. Believe it or not, I'm thinking when I was reading the book like Belfast. You mean that city in Ireland, which happens to be, I think it's the capital of Ireland. I'm not mistaken. So is this country based upon medieval Ireland? Possibly. Who knows? Oh yeah, and they mentioned that Yui and possibly Toya is from Esland, which is another thing for Japan, and she's from Edo. And he's like, oh. And he's thinking that, oh, that was Tokyo's old name, which that is true. Tokyo used to be called Edo. It's a good thing he knows basically Japanese history. Yeah. So, they save the Duke, and he's like, okay. Now, he's like, okay, he helped my wife? It's like, sure. Heals her eyes? Yeah, she's actually blind. And the first thing she sees is Toya. She sees the girls, and then she looks to see her husband and her beautiful daughter, and she's like so happy. Now in the book, basically he basically called her Lady Ellen. In the show, he doesn't refer to her by name for some reason. I'm not sure why they cut that out for. I'm like, really? Why would you cut out a really cool scene line like welcome back, Lady Ellen? I'm surprised. It's like they kind of cut out like a little bit of here, a little bit of scenes, but you can't exactly carbon copy what was presented in the book. So, as a thank you for saving and basically the Duke is like, okay, as a thank you for saving my wife and daughter, I'm giving you this big bag of platinum coins, 40 of them, which in Toya's case is equivalent to 40 million yen. And no, I have no idea how much that is in U.S. currency. And him, the girl, and three girls are getting these 4 medals. Basically, they can travel anywhere in the country under the protection, get through checkpoints, no problem at all. They become useful later, and of course, after that, you decide to travel with them full time. Like, okay, and of course, they decided to travel to a dungeon. In the very next episode, and I don't think they introduce a new. Oh, they do introduce one new thing here. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. In this same episode 2, they also introduce ice cream. Yes, ice cream. Though they actually cut out something here that they actually cut out the whole thing of basically expecting basically how measurements work. Yeah, my guess is the reason why they cut it because they probably wanted to progress the speed of the anime a little bit because he basically was explaining like millimeters, and the anime is like they apparently the way they're written, it seems like they understand what that he's talking about. In the book, they have no idea what he's talking about when he describes how to make ice cream, and basically he's able to. Now they also cut out basically how he's to make vanilla. He couldn't find the vanilla he's familiar with, so they found something that was equivalent to it, and they make the ice cream. Of course, they love it, and of course, the child of the cafe that the owner of the inn they stay at, basically the cafe waitress is a friend of hers, and they want to try something else on the menu. The girls couldn't think of anything, but Toya thought, why not ice cream? And of course, especially in sweets. Ice cream is a very good idea. And he's like, oh no, I just introduced ice cream to this world. Wait till we introduce the bicycle. Yeah, that becomes something. Yeah, especially in the last book I read, which is book 3. You guys remember how many books the series had? 20 books. And I read the first 3. Books are also really short too. Like the book that this episode adapts on, it's 190 pages. Book 2, 191. Book 3, 187. Yeah, 187. Kind of like with Hana Seima Demon Lord, where the books get shorter each book. Also forgot to mention when I did my Hana Seima Demon Lord series that the first book I read for that series was my 100 light novel I've read. Yeah, I've read over 100 light novels now. Kudos for me. Yep, and so like they go to a ruin and they find some exploration, and of course she shows off the ability basically of a smartphone. It's like, don't ask where the smartphone comes from. Let's keep my secret. It's like, don't ask me much about it. Okay, fine. And of course, take pictures with it, which they have no idea what basically he's doing. They thought he was like casting like a spell. Nope, just basically taking pictures with a smartphone of these hieroglyphics. And then of course, they're there because they come across a holy object, what turns out to be a mechanical spider. Okay, this is actually the first series I've come across in quite a while where it features a mechanical spider. The last series I could think of that actually had this was Kunosaba. That was toward the end of season 1 with a giant destroyer that looked like the same type of spider that was used for Wild Wild West. Yep. So after a pretty lengthy battle with the four, basically battling the thing, of course, Toya thinks, okay, this ball in the middle basically must have score, so I'll just teleport it out, and having Ellie basically smash the damn thing, and, well, and then they decide to, well, basically have the pictures off to Duke, because Duke is basically using a smartphone the first time, and basically decided to, I'll make copies. Like, okay. He makes copies thanks to his drawing magic. He comes and visits the Duke via his gate magic. Yeah, he's actually able to use gate in the series along with Slip. Yeah, he actually made characters Slip, which I thought was quite hilarious. The fact that people slip. Like, whoopsie. Also, he gets a weapon. Yeah, his weapon is a katana. They actually cut out a really interesting scene of basically how he got the sword. It just, oh yeah, he also, during this period of time when before he got to the ruin, he also got his awesome white coat he has. Yeah, they mentioned he got this in book 1. About half of the book he has this long white coat with this fluffy collar. Yeah, it's basically able to basically be immune to certain magic, which, okay, perfectly fine. Yeah, I'm glad the fact they threw that coat in because that's actually important to him, and it's part of his signature look. So I'm glad the anime include that coat in because it would be kind of dumb for not to include it. Okay, yep, and that's when he went to the ruin, and of course he goes to see Duke, and Duke is basically off to see his brother, the King, who in the anime is voiced by David Wade. Awesome. And of course, he's basically there to get pictures. But it's like more important. The King has been poisoned. So it's an attempted murder mystery. Yep. And they meet the Count Orson, I think his name is. Yeah, he's voiced by Chris Guerrero. I was kind of surprised to hear his voice again. I mean, I haven't heard him that many anime. I mean, the only anime I've heard of it is basically Overlord. Love the series. And Black Clover. This is like the third one I can think of I've seen him in, which I'm like, really? And he plays a villain? Oh yeah, in case you went over this character, he doesn't appear in the next 2 books. Nope. Though, actually, and of course, and the thing is, prior to this, he met the ambassador they suspect basically behind this. Of course, the Count basically is, and it's basically kind of like a fox. He basically just happens to find the sister. Now, this is similar to in the book. Of course, he also uses later to help find, well, a little girl's mother. Yeah, he does it a little bit later as well. So, like, he's surprised to see her again. He's like, oh, you're here. And so it's like, okay, we need to figure out how the king was poisoned. Of course, he also took time to heal the king. So, he examines the wine, and the wine's not poisoned. And it turns out the king's glass was poisoned. Now, they actually got some minor steps to basically he has to figure it out. And who the perpetrator really was. Yeah. So he's able to test out, like, okay, everybody here who's in the room is like, yeah. One of you is the murder suspect. I'm like, yeah, classic Agatha Christie. Yeah, that's what this is, classic Agatha Christie. One of you is a murderer. Okay. Well, the attempted murderer. So, we tested the glasses. Now, none of the main royal family basically are like the queen. Nope, the daughter. Nothing. And it turns out the person who tried to kill the king was the Count, who was the most suspicious one of all of them, and somebody the Duke actually suspected from the very start. Yeah, but they actually cut out his reasoning for what he was doing. And of course he has slip, and that's that. Really quick. In the book, basically, the reason why he wanted to basically kill the king was so he could start a war. And also the fact that he was apparently also embezzling money. Yeah, I'm surprised they cut that out. They'll probably do it in a later episode. So the king is like, and of course the princess decided to sit next to him for some reason. And this basically comes from the book as well. So basically, apparently she was there for 2 hours, and she's like, hey, Father, I like to marry him. And of course he does the thing he does in the book as well, where he just spits out his coffee. Which, by the way, not the first anime I've seen this in. Like, they do this in Tokaguri when Toga asked Kaneki if he's a virgin. This also happened when, I'm trying to think, what was her name? It was from Fullmetal's Brotherhood when she asked Eric if he's in love with Wendy. I thought that was so funny. And it's like, how old are you? 12. And the king's like, well, I was betrothed to my wife when I was 14. We got married a couple years later. Like, okay, fine, give a couple years. And he comes home, and of course he's like, wait, you've been gone for 6 hours? You got a fiance already? And it just happens to be it happens to be the princess of the country. And first he calls the princess, be polite. And of course, like, don't call me that, call me Yutima. Yep, that's her name. And she basically volunteers to become an adventurer. Oh yeah, and she says, my father ordered me to live with you. Okay. So, signs up to be an adventurer. Goes on a quest. Summons some wolves. Because like, hey, that's cool magic. I'll show you later. Yep. Brings out some beasts. Kills them very quickly. Of course, Toya takes out his sword, doesn't do anything with it. He basically uses his bow to keep the monster keeps slipping, which that is quite hilarious. And he's like, okay, like it's okay, like because he figured, because he says he's like the only guy in this group. Like, I'm in a group with 4 cute girls, and the sisters and Yui just all like faces all turn red at it, but as Usima, she basically just blushes. And she's like, do you think I'm cute? He says, yes, I think all you are cute. Okay. Oh yeah, and also when he gets engaged, I forgot to mention this, he gets a call from God. He says, hey, congratulations on the engagement. Yeah, he basically just calls us a toy with him. And of course when he gets back, he decides to form a sign of magic. And he summons a heavenly beast, a white tiger, the Monarch King. And it's like, he tests his magic. Okay, fine. I'll test the magic. Give me a name. Okay, I'll call you Kohaku. And when he explains it, you're like, okay, love it. And like, okay, I accept you. Can I stay? He's like, okay, but it's gonna be kind of weird walking around with a giant tiger. Like, don't worry. And he transforms into an adorable tiger cub, which I thought was so hilarious. And then Yui picks it up. It's like, oh, you're so adorable. He's like, who are you? I'm your master's patrol. He's like, what? He's like, what? What did they think that happen? And then the other girls come out like, oh, it's so cute. And they all take turns holding the cub, holding Kohaku, and that's how the episode ends. Like, I couldn't stop laughing at that. Like, I thought it was so hilarious. And if I remember, that's how the book ended, with him basically playing with Kohaku. That was so funny. I loved it. It was fantastic. Oh yeah, that's pretty much it for this particular review. Reviewing these episodes is fun. Yeah, watching the series, I never thought I'd laugh at basically watching a while since this has happened. Like, last series it had some humor in it, but my gosh, the humor in this series is just so good. I love it. Yep, it's basically a break from basically watching the dark stuff that is in Dragon Ball Z, which is always great to take a break from that. Yep, so that's it for this review. I'll probably do episode 2 tomorrow. I'll skip episodes 5 through 8, which is book 2 of the series. Okay, see you next video. Bye.